Welcome everyone to the Rainbow House Children's Resource Center Night of Hope. Now we are virtual, but that's okay. We're still going to educate, inform, and entertain you tonight and let you know a lot about what's going on in your community with the Rainbow House. Now we're going to talk about discovering and promoting hope for the Rainbow House, which seeks to decrease the occurrence of child abuse and neglect within our community, and that's right here in Houston County. It's time for us to take a look at a Rainbow House highlight video. Let's check it out.
My name is Tanya Zellner, and I'm the Executive Director at Rainbow House Children's Resource Center located in Warner Robins, Georgia. In 1981, a group of community leaders were looking for ways to help with the growing number of child abuse cases, so they visited the National CAC in Huntsville, Alabama. This was the start of something wonderful for Houston County and also the state of Georgia. On April 1st, 1986, Rainbow House opened as the first child advocacy center in the state of Georgia. Today, there are 46. Our mission at Rainbow House is to serve all children by strengthening our community's response to child abuse and neglect through prevention, intervention, and advocacy efforts. Rainbow House is a 501c3 nonprofit agency that is funded by grants, community donations, and fundraisers. All of the services offered at Rainbow House are free. Rainbow House is governed by a board of directors and has a staff of 15 members. Primary prevention programs are available. Rainbow House is the official Prevent Child Abuse Georgia Council for Houston County. Under prevention programming, we offer parent support classes such as 1, 2, 3 Magic, effective discipline for children. We also teach mandated reporter training to the community, which educates participants about the laws around mandated reporting. We are also the local agency that oversees and offers first books to the Houston County community in partnership with the First Foundation for Childhood Literacy. Participants in the First Book programs receive 1 free book per month. The program is for children ages 0 to 5, and its goal is to prepare preschool-age children for school by increasing literacy skills. Rainbow House offers Healthy Families Houston County.
Healthy Families Houston County is a new program here at Rainbow House. We're currently an affiliate of Healthy Families America, a nationwide evidence-based structure that launched a little over 25 years ago. We started our program here in Houston County in October 2015. We have 4 home visitors, Kim, Blair, Shay, and Sharon, and our First Steps coordinator, Jennifer. We provide support services for prenatal moms and mothers of newborns until their child turns 3 years old. Healthy Families Houston County is currently on the books to becoming an accredited program through Healthy Families America. Once that process is complete, we will be the 6th program in Georgia to be an accredited program. Our program is the 2nd home visiting program in the county, but it is the only program that focuses on building a positive parent-child relationship with an emphasis on the social-emotional well-being of a child and the family unit. We're grounded in the theoretical belief that if a child has that positive, nurturing support from the home life from the beginning, then they're going to live a healthy and balanced life throughout. We have 3 key principles that make this program stand out. We're trauma-informed, we focus on relationship building, and we pay close attention to mindfulness and self-care. Our home visitors provide support and information to our families that can give them a 360-degree view on who they are, what strengths they hold, and how they want to love their child and the person they hope to become. We provide tools that help parents understand their child developmentally, physically, emotionally, and verbally. Healthy Families Houston County is a wonderful program, and I hope that we're around for a very long time to serve our community.
First Steps is also available as part of the prevention programming.
First Steps Rainbow House provides a one-stop shop for awareness regarding community resources that support both expectant parents and parents of children who are 5 and under. We give educational materials and referrals to the families we meet based on their personal and family needs. Thanks to our partnership with Houston Medical Center, the majority of the families we serve come from the postpartum floor. We also go out into the community and meet families at health fairs and other events such as lap sits at our local libraries. Another partnership we have in the community is with our county Head Start centers. Our information is given to families in a neatly put together parent packet based on their child's age. The packet provides resources and information about maternal health, newborn child health, home and child safety, community and family safety, school readiness, and family economics and self-sufficiency. Also included in the folder is a community resource guide that we make sure is kept up to date. We also provide follow-up calls when necessary to check in on families and see if they have any additional needs that First Steps can provide.
Rainbow House has a child advocacy center.
The Child Advocacy Center program is the intervention and advocacy component of the Rainbow House Children's Resource Center. The Child Advocacy Center offers a child-friendly, neutral setting for the video recording of the forensic interview. We have contracted forensic interviewers who are specially trained to gather the information from the child in a non-threatening and non-leading manner. We also offer on-site therapeutic services during non-traditional hours to enhance the healing process, and crisis coordination from the beginning of contact with the child victim and the non-offending caregiver. The Child Advocacy Center program participates on the Houston County Child Abuse Prevention and Fatality Review Protocol Committee and the Houston County Child Abuse Prevention Multidisciplinary Team. The multidisciplinary team meets bi-monthly to review all our cases and to ensure that no case falls through the cracks. The Child Advocacy Center program exists to offer services when prevention strategies have been permeated and intervention is in order. Intervention is the first priority of the Child Advocacy Center program because we understand the significance of stopping the pain as soon as possible. More importantly, we want the healing and recovery process to begin immediately. When elements in the life of a child become unsettled or turbulent, all responsible adults in the child's life should be willing to step in and step up to make a difference. This difference requires recognition that all children are precious and deserve to be protected from anything and anyone and any act that could be harmful to them. Turbulence in the elements often change a child's life forever. However, with proper intervention and support, a child will heal, and the painful experience can become just a bad memory that a child overcomes. A quote to remember from a French philosopher reads, "Even a minor event in the life of a child is an event in that child's world, and thus is a world event."
A special thanks to the staff at Rainbow House for the work they do each day. Thanks to our board of directors for their governance and guidance. A special thanks to all that support Rainbow House. We could not do this without you.
Now, it truly takes the effort of many committed individuals within the community, a whole entire community effort to help children who have suffered from abuse and neglect. Now, we want to be able to help children to feel safe, loved, and valued. Now, here is a video from someone who is an individual in the community who has helped seek justice for our children.
Hi, I'm Chief Wagner of the Warner Robins Police Department. Children are our future. They're our greatest hope, and they're resilient. They're also victims, delicate, and in need of help. The Rainbow House is that source of help, a resource that's certainly used by this agency. I recall back as a detective meeting the staff at the Rainbow House and bringing in a child who had seen and endured things a child should never have to. The resource brought the child out of a sanitary police building atmosphere into a home where the child could be relaxed and explain what happened with professionals that genuinely care about the child. The child is the priority. That's the best part of the Rainbow House. The professionals that work with the children are a tremendous tool in ensuring information used to help the child, as well as a concurrent investigation where the child should never have to come in contact with. I'm saddened we must have a home such as this, but as the name evokes, troubles will melt away like lemon drops, and the child can wake up where the clouds are far behind them. You can make a difference. The Rainbow House is a nonprofit organization and depends on grants and fundraisers and donations to provide wonderful services to the children of the House and County. Please consider a contribution to the Rainbow House. The children matter the most. Thank you.
Now, you don't have to be an attorney or have an important job in law enforcement to be a part of this team. Every part matters helping out the Rainbow House. Now, when you make a donation, you have a chance to impact this community in a variety of different ways. And you can support new mothers, you can provide books to families. Those are just to name a few of some of the things that you can do. Now, let's take a look at some of our gold level sponsors who are helping out the Rainbow House community. We have Allison L. Goodman, the Sunmark Community Bank, Mistletoe Market, Robbins Financial Credit Union, and Strategic Enterprise Solutions. Thank you all for your support of the Rainbow House. We also want to talk about a drawing on Sunday the 25th on Facebook's Rainbow House page at 6:30. You want to tune in right there on Sunday the 25th. There will be a drawing for some prizes that you might be eligible to win. So you want to check that out on the Facebook Rainbow House page at 6:30. Now, when you give, you are helping equip the Rainbow House further its message of hope, even after the most difficult of journey. To further convey this message, Mallory and Andy Acosta are performing Rainbow by Casey Musgraves.
You're stuck out in the same old storm again.
All right, this is where we need your help, you at home. We need you to text to give HOPE 2021 to 41444. That's HOPE 2021 to 41444. That is you helping text to give. You will receive a link, and then that will help you donate the funds to the Rainbow House. Now let's take a look at our silver sponsors: Flint Energies, Houston Healthcare, Spillers Orthodontics, Kiwanis, and Stormy's Vapor Cellar. And then we also have Phillips Furniture and Chastity Taylor, the Arch Guru. Now, children may experience some difficult emotions due to trauma, and that's why the Rainbow House is there to help empower and also help the children on the road of emotional and mental healing by way of the Child Advocacy Center. Spoken word artist Maya Wilson performs a powerful and inspiring piece called Rise and Rain that helps further display this message.
Consider these words an anthem, a hymn, a psalm, a spiritual for the one that you are becoming. The one they thought would never come. The scars they left do not define your worth. The things that they said are not your name. This poem is for everyone who has never believed in you, or me, or us, who laughed at the prophecies we saw, of the dreams we had underneath the sun, how these made our backbone shake and our minds dance, who scoffed at the magic we have between our fingers. They tried to tear our pages in half, burn our journals, tried to make us think that our words weighed nothing, made us believe our tongues were no longer there, our cheeks graveyards, our mouths eulogies, who tried to make us think that we were dead before we took our last breath. This is for everyone who has ever doubted the kingdom in you. You, yes, you are royal, and they'll speak of your strength for generations. Look up, child. I know the rain is blinding, the thunder, the lightning, it rears to scare you. But feet planted, heart open, strong, knowing that the clouds must pass. The storm ends soon. The light is coming. It begins to rise in you.
All right, everybody at home, you're in for a treat. Mr. C. David Moody Jr. Now, he may seem put together and looks unbroken, but he's experienced devastation and trauma as a child that you wouldn't believe, but he has overcome and was able to become a multi-million-dollar construction business owner. And some of the lists to credit of his that he has on his who's who resume of buildings is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Turner Field, and even a couple on his alumni of his on Morehouse College. But now he is an advocate, a voice, and a source of healing, and he represents hope. Let's take a listen to my friend, Mr. C. David Moody Jr.
Thank y'all so much, Rainbow House, for having me here. It's an honor, and for everybody watching and listening, this is a little different. I'm actually filming this, and I can't feel your energy, and I feed off of that energy, so I'm going to imagine your energy is here. Now, normally when I speak, I have a picture from 2017 where I'm down in the Grand Canyon. I went 7 days and 7 nights. I did a rafting trip down the Grand Canyon. And I use that picture because that Grand Canyon experience changed my life. And let me tell you what I mean by how it changed my life. We were disconnected completely from technology. There was no internet, no cell phone, no TV, no nothing. And there was 16 of us, all baby boomers, 60 and older. And we were going into the Grand Canyon. Now, as I tell my story, you'll understand a little bit better. Because I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, I deal with anxiety. I deal with panic attacks, PTSD, and my greatest fear was being totally disconnected and having a panic attack and not being able to call my wife or call someone to kind of talk me through it. But I wasn't going to let that fear stop me from doing something I've been wanting to do since I was a kid. But by the third day of the seventh day of the trip, I didn't want to reconnect. Because you know what I learned? There was no negative noise. I didn't read anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything on the internet. It was just nature and quiet. And I loved it. And the reason I also tell that story, for all of you who work at the Rainbow House, who have to deal with trying to help children deal with sexual abuse or any kind of abuse and deal with prevention, what do you do for yourself? How do you have your Grand Canyon moments where you're just free, you're quiet, there's no negative noise? Because what you do is so, so important also. So anyway, please give to the Rainbow House. You're going to hear me throughout my talk, and I hope you'll understand why it's important that you give. Because we have this saying for many, many years, children are resilient. But we forget children become adults. And if it hasn't been properly dealt with, so many survivors of abuse take destructive lifestyles that hide that pain, to try and mask that pain. So please, please understand it is important. Now, here's something else that's very important. 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused before the age of 18. So don't think it won't happen in your house. Don't think it can't happen in your house. Because it can, and unfortunately, it probably will. The next thing is 90% of predators is someone close to the family or in the family. It's not that person in that trench coat that I was taught. In this, I'm 64 years old, so we were taught to watch the person in the trench coat. That ain't the person you really need to watch. It's that pedophile. It's that person who grooms, who sets that child up, who we think they're in a safe place. That's why you must be trained and understand the signs. So anyway, as you go through this and you listen, know that what the Rainbow House does is so important. They're going to change some children's lives. There's an estimated 42 million survivors just in the U.S. Think about that. 42 million. Just in the U.S. And once I started speaking publicly about 6 years ago, it's amazing how many people contact me who I don't know saying, thank you for speaking up. Thank you. I thought I was alone. But the ones that really get me are the folks, and a couple of months ago said, you saved my life. I was about to take my life because I didn't think there was any worth in my life anymore. And I tell my story because I believe we can turn trauma into triumph. But the Rainbow House helps a child, helps a parent, helps an adult who's turning trauma into triumph. We can't be afraid of therapy. It took me until 5 months ago, I finally went and got a trauma therapist. And I did cognitive behavior therapy. And that was the best thing I ever did. I finally freed myself from the past because I was one of those folks who still tried to ignore how bad it was or what happened to me and the impact it had on me. So here's my story. I'm like most of you, I was a C student, could have been better. But I came to Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up in Chicago, went to high school in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I came to Morehouse College on a football scholarship in 1974. And I always tell the story how I actually decided to come here. I didn't plan on coming south. My dad's from Louisiana. My mother's family's from Social Circle, Georgia. They were sharecroppers, and they left with the Great Migration in 1937. So I had no intentions of coming south. But the coach did something really smart. Anybody knows about Morehouse and then Spelman's across the street, the all-female. The coach did something really well. He had one of the players take me to Spelman at lunchtime. I saw all the beautiful women in Spelman. I signed my letter of intent right there to come play football. I never saw the practice field. I saw nothing that had to do with Morehouse. I saw Spelman, and for me that meant the world to me. So that's how I actually ended up in Atlanta. After I finished school, I went to Howard University and got my degree in architecture. And I started my career in nuclear power architecture in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I had known my wife since high school. But for many of you, we couldn't stand each other. And I'll tell you this quick story before I get to the meat of this, because I'll try and give you a little something to make you smile and laugh and go, yep, I remember that. But we couldn't stand each other. She went to another high school. I'm quarterback of my high school football team. I told her I'm number 12 in your program, but number 1 in your heart. And she ignored me. And I'm like, oh, you going to ignore me? Do you know who I am? So a couple years go by. I go away to college. I come back that first summer, 1975. And one of my teammates is up in Detroit working for the summer, which is 40 miles from Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I go, hey, Kenny, I'm going to get us a couple of dates. Come on down for the weekend, stay with my parents' house, and I'll get us a couple of dates. Well, I was trying to talk to my wife's girlfriend. So I told her, I said, why don't you get somebody for Kenny? Well, she gets my wife for Kenny. And at the time, I hadn't seen her in a while. And, all of a sudden we get in the car and we're going on our date. And I got the other girl up front and my wife to be's in the back with Kenny. And I'm start going, wait a minute. She's a lot of fun. I might have gave Kenny too good a deal. So now I'm starting to figure out, because you all know once you make that eye contact and lock in, it's hard. So I'm turning the wheel. I'm doing all kind of stuff, keeping them from making that contact. When we get to the concert, I'm walking between them. I'm doing all kind of stuff to keep that vibe from going. So that night, the date's over. I make sure we go right home. And I'm thinking all night. And for those of you young folks, this was before Google. You had to think on your own. So, you just go Google, how do you ditch your buddy and get the other girl? And I had to think. So that morning I woke up, I said, Kenny, man, I'm sorry. My dad got me doing a bunch of chores. I'm going to have to take you back to Detroit. So I took him back to Detroit. When I came back, I said, Carla, I'm sorry. I called her. Kenny had to go back to Detroit. I'll take you out tonight. 7 years later, we got married. So that's why I always tell people, you got to be quick on your feet, and you never know who's going to be your life partner. We've been happily married for 38 years. And the reason this story is important, because she played an important role in my dealing with childhood sexual abuse, because I planned on dying with my secret. I had never told anyone. I was groomed by a male babysitter who was the older 17, 18-year-old son of our regular babysitter who couldn't babysit us. So my mom and dad thought it'd be okay for him to watch us, and he groomed me as they normally does, then the threats and the sexual abuse and all that. And being a heterosexual male, I was like, I could never tell anybody what happened. And here's the other important thing. Parents, be very careful what you say to a child if you think something's going on. Let me tell you why that's important. My mother got suspicious something wasn't right, and she called me into her and my dad's room, and she went, don't let anyone touch you. He had already touched me. So now I thought it was my fault. So you got to be careful. Now, she said it with love. She had my best intention, but saying don't let. She said don't let. It had already happened. So therefore, I decided it's my fault. And I immediately clammed up. Now, even in the 60s, the odds of me saying something probably was slim and none, because in my neighborhood, I would have been just verbally, they had found that out. So the survivor always continually has to hide it, mask it, because we get repeatedly abused by people who either say it didn't happen, how did you let that happen, and the whole list goes on. And so I just decided I'd bury it. So I just got into sports and just keeping myself busy. So anyway, I was one of the fortunate ones, because this happened in Chicago. I was about 9.5, 10 years old. And then at 14, we moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan. So I was out of that environment. Too many kids have to continue to live in these environments. And that's why the Rainbow House is so important, because there's some really, even though my story's bad for me, I've heard some stories that just make me go, I'll take mine all day long. You can't imagine some of the stories that some of these kids actually are living in. And they have to stay in these environments. I've had people share with me some stories that just blows my mind how many years, decades, that they were actually sexually abused. And the damage is real. There was a article that says 70% of female inmates have been sexually abused. And I think that number is same for male or very close to it. People are in pain because they don't have anywhere to go. And that's why I tell my story about turning trauma into triumph. Because you often hear people say they were sexually abused, but they never talk about the journey. So when you're going through trauma, you're going through panic attacks, anxiety, you think you're the only one, so you think you're weak. So anyway, let me kind of keep going on my story. So anyway, the year now is 1982. Carla and I get married in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And her parents live 2 miles to the left. My parents live 2 miles to the right. And after about 7-8 months of that, I said, we're going to be happily married. We're getting out of here because, too much whose house we going to for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that kind of stuff. So I said, I'm taking you to Atlanta. And that's why today, for my adult children, for all holidays, we tell them, do whatever makes you happy. There's no stress here, because I think that's the greatest stress ever is when you got to decide whose house you're going to for holidays. What does that have to do with my story? Just giving y'all some tidbits. So anyway, we come back to Atlanta. I tell her, look, I got this great opportunity. We leave great jobs. I come to work for this small company, and then 2 months later, that company goes bankrupt. So now I don't have a job, my great idea. So I started working for other companies, and then finally in '88, started my own company. So life's going along pretty good. 1991, I win Small Business Person of the Year from the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. I get an award from the White House in 1991. I mean, things are kicking. And then my wife finds out someone close to her had been sexually abused by someone we knew. And all of a sudden, I blurted it out. It happened to me. And my mind said, Dave, we got you, man. We've been taking care of you for 26 years. You don't need to tell this story. We got you. But I said it anyway. And I said, okay, that wasn't too bad. Well, a couple of months started going by. I started feeling more and more anxious and like I wasn't in control. And then finally one day I'm driving to the gym. I'm on my cell phone. And all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. And I called 911. They came, hooked me up. And they said, sir, everything's fine. And I look back at that story now, I kind of laugh because I'm like, I was more concerned who saw me on the side of the road hooked up than I was what was wrong with me. So he said, so I go to my doctor. And again, this is 1992. What happened to me was 1965. There's no way those two could even be together in my mind. How could something that happened to me 26 years ago impact me now? So I go to my doctor, told him what happened. Said, well, you got a new business, 4 years old. You're probably under a lot of stress. Just take these pills. You'll be fine. I said, all right, cool. Time keeps going. I keep having these mini panic attacks and stuff. Well, a couple of months go by and I go out of town. And I'm by myself. I'm in Sea Island, Georgia for a meeting. And I have a really bad one. And then I go to the emergency room and they say, sir, nothing's wrong with you. But now I'm having a complete nervous breakdown. I get back to the hotel. I'm crying uncontrollably. I got muscle tremors. I got shakes. I'm just losing it. That next morning I get up. I drive back 5 hours to Atlanta, basically get home and pass out. I go home, have every kind of test that exists. They can't find anything. Finally, I'm talking to a friend who's a psychiatrist at church, kind of telling her, and she says, you're having panic attacks. I went, oh, really? And then we're finally able to kind of put two and two together that the childhood sexual abuse that I had been keeping suppressed and acting like it didn't happen, when I finally said those words, all that stress and pressure finally started unwinding. But where I kind of, to me now, I got some therapy, but I got therapy more to understand panic attacks and stuff. I still didn't dig into the trauma because I still wasn't ready to accept because I had never said until 6 months ago actually whatever happened to me. And that was to my wife finally. I just would never say it because it was just too hard to say what took place. But when I finally did this trauma therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, over the last few months, I finally said it. I had to write it. It was a lot of stuff, a lot of tears, but I finally unloaded that because as a survivor, and I never said anything and told on that person, I felt I had let that person keep hurting people. And I finally realized I got to stop taking that person's responsibility for their actions. But I had been carrying that. And it was my fault. How did I let it happen? And all those things. That is why the Rainbow House is so important. I suffered in silence. No child should have to suffer in silence or adult. And that is why I speak up. That is why what the Rainbow House does is so important. We can help people from suffering in silence if you'll give money for them to do their job. We must help others. We must be there for them. So anyway, even though I've had a great career, I ran a business for 33 years, also dealing with anxiety from my past and trying to deal with that privately. Now, going through this behavior for the first time in my life, I'll run my business almost 65. I'll be 65 next month where I'm free. And that's the other reason I speak up. I want to free as many people as possible to be all they can be. Dealing with abuse is tough. It is not easy. Even though I have a great life, it's those private moments where you can't believe that it happened to you. And that's why places like the Rainbow House are so important. If we can help children early, they don't have to suffer as adults. And I'm a lucky one. Too many have destructive lifestyles to ease that pain with liquor, drugs, and other type of things, because that pain is real. So folks, I thank you so much for having me. I hope you will donate. I hope you see the reason why. You can check me on my website. I have a website called moodyspeaks.com. It's a website to help those who want to take that first step in healing in private, and it has resources. I always tell people I'm not a therapist. I just share my story. So go to a proper therapy. Second thing is I have a book called Fighting Through the Fear, My Journey of Healing Through Childhood Sexual Abuse. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram at cmoody1003. And I try and share a lot of uplifting stories all the time. Again, thank you so much for having me. I hope you'll donate. I hope you'll give. I mean, dig into those pockets, folks. They need you. Trust me, I need you. I took my first tour in 2012 of a child advocacy center. I used to get things in the mail in my company to donate. I would throw them away because I didn't even want to acknowledge it. And I went into the Georgia Center for Child Advocacy Center. I took a tour and everything was fine. Then I got to the conference room and I just broke down crying because I wish this had been there when I was a child. But then I also was crying because why do we even need this? We got to stop being afraid of sexual abuse and discussing it. That's one of the worst topics and nobody wants to deal with it. That's why predators can go as long as they go. That's why we see so many things like the Dr. Nassar and Jerry Sandusky and so many of them we hear about where it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 victims because one, we don't want to believe that that person could do that. And two, we make it tough for a survivor to even tell their story until we're adults. And even then, it's tough. So remember, parents and anybody who works with children, be careful how you talk to the child. So thank you. Thank you so very, very much for having me in Rainbow House. Keep doing the great job that you're doing. And please let me know that y'all broke records raising money. We're going to break a record, folks. We're going to help them raise a ton of money. I'll come back anytime. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right, folks, we need your help one more time. Text to give HOPE 2021 to 41444. That's HOPE 2021 to 41444. And then right then, once you do that, you will receive a link on how you can donate to the cause of helping out the Rainbow House. Now let's take a look at our bronze sponsors: Cornerstone Pediatric Associates, Dentistry at Houston Lake, Town and Country Animal Clinic, All Secure Lock and Safe Services, and PFB Planners First Bank. Now remember, don't miss our Facebook drawing Sunday, April 25th at 6:30. Go to the Rainbow House Facebook page. They're going to have a live drawing, several different gifts and gift cards and things that you might want to be checking out so you can make sure that you win some of those things. So make sure Sunday, April 25th at 6:30, Rainbow House Facebook page. All right, we have some more entertainment for you. We're going to listen to the sounds of Candy McClellan singing Hero. She is a professional actor, dancer, singer in the ATL. And right here, a proud homegrown talent from Northside High School. Let's take a listen.
There's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. There's an answer if you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth. Not a hero lies in you. It's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold. You can find love if you search within yourself, and that emptiness you felt will disappear. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth. Not a hero lies in you. Oh, learn us. Dreams are hard to follow, but don't let anyone tear them away. Hold on, there will be tomorrow. In time, you'll find the way. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. So when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see that truth. Not a hero lies in you. Not a hero lies in
Now, thank you for spending part of your evening with us, learning so much more about the Rainbow House. If you have any questions or you want to partner with us in the future, contact the Rainbow House at 478-923-5923. That's 478-923-5923. We thank you so much again for joining us. Please remember to text to give, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hi, I'm Carol Seward. I'm the Family Resource Specialist with Healthy Families and the First Steps Assistant. And I want to thank you all for everything that you're doing, all your support, and I appreciate it. Thank you again.
My name is Pamela Benson, First Steps First Readers Coordinator, and I just want to thank you all for what you have done. Really appreciate it. Thank you for all your support.
My name is Kim Coxon. I work with the Healthy Families House and County program with the Rainbow House. I'd like to thank you for your support and everything that you do for our program and the children and families in the county. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shay Ross. I am a family support specialist at the Healthy Families Rainbow House office. I would like to say thank you for your gracious support and donation. Your support will allow us to continue to help the community. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Gilbert. I'm the Preventions Program Director here at Rainbow House Children Resource Center. And I just want to say thank you so much for all your donations and support throughout the years. We were able to service so many families, and it has benefited our communities as well.
Hi, my name is Janira Corbin. I'm a family support specialist with Healthy Families. I would like to thank each of our donors for everything that you do. Everything you do will always be greatly appreciated.
Hi everyone, my name is Sharon Espinoza. I am a family support specialist for Rainbow House. Our program name is Healthy Families House and County. We would like to thank everyone for their help and support, and thank you so much for your contributions.
Hi, my name is Shamanda Charles. I'm the clinical supervisor over Healthy Families. I would like to say thank you for your love, support, and donations.
Hello, my name is Arbazelle Grills. I'm the office manager at the Rainbow House Children's Resource Center on Elmwood. I've only been here a short time, and I enjoy what I do. I enjoy who I work with. My first encounter with donations was Christmas, and the donations that came in were overwhelming. I was so elated and happy that I hope and pray that the donations continue to come in. A lot of children were helped, a lot of parents were helped, and I just hope and pray that you continue to give donations, and thank you all for the ones that were given.
Hello, my name is Mia Kimber, and I am the Advocacy Program Director. I would like to take this time to say thank you guys so very much for everything that you guys do. Not only just in monetary donations, but in your prayers, and also your investing in us to help us to continue to do the work that we do. It is a privilege to work with Rainbow House and to work in our community with our children. And so although we don't see every one of you, I'm thankful from the bottom of my heart for all of our children that we're able to serve and to just give a special thanks to you. So on behalf of the community of House and County and our children in the advocacy department, we say thank you for your donations, for your time, and for your thoughts.
Hello, my name is Taylor Delina, and I'm the Victim Advocate Assistant here at Rainbow House. I'd like to thank each and every one of our donors for making the work that we do here possible. We could not do it without you.
Hello, my name is Tanya Zellner, and I'm the Executive Director at Rainbow House Children's Resource Center in Warner Robins, Georgia. We would like to thank you for all your support. We have been around for 35 years. We're the first child advocacy center to open in the state of Georgia, now where there are more than 50 centers covering the entire state. We could not have done this without your support, your generous donations, monetary, in-kind, volunteer hours, all that you do, all your support for our mission that all children can be free from child abuse. Once again, thank you.